Okay, so let me know if you can hear me and see me. Normally, when I do this, I'm in my office and I'm hardwired into the wall today, and we are doing this wireless because we are doing it today in my kitchen. So, okay, um, we're going to go ahead and get started. So I am going to do a little prize giveaway. If you guys can, whoever gets the first answer, and you have to give the answer before I actually give the answer. So today we're going to be talking about the most overlooked antioxidant, especially with doctors. So if you're having health issues and dermatologists, believe it or not. So I'm going to give you some hints with this antioxidant. So first of all, the first clue is, okay, so can you guys tell me where you are from? Lady Lotus. So Lady Lotus, I don't know if I've ever seen you on any of my lives or my channel. I'm really bad. I know that you're supposed to give your viewers heads up that you're going to do a live, and then you give them reminders, and I just do them when I feel like it and then give the notice. And sometimes it's like a few hours, sometimes it's the day before. So I'm terrible with that. Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to be talking about the most overlooked antioxidant. So first of all, this antioxidant is not considered an antioxidant, but technically it is an antioxidant because it does reduce inflammation in the cells. It slows down aging. It reduces reactive oxygen species. And you must have this, believe it or not, for cell functioning and also skin health. And what I mean by that, if you guys have any type of like acne lesion, you have constant peeling, some kind of skin lesion anywhere on the body where it like is very slow to heal. It starts to heal, but then it seems to kind of open up again because you're kind of, picking at it. This may be an indication that you are lacking in this antioxidant. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, I have an outline here so that I don't go off the rabbit trail. So one of the things that I try to do, even though it's unavoidable sometimes, is to go off the rabbit trail. That if you've seen any lives for any topic, that happens a lot. So I try to have an outline to keep me on track, okay? Anytime you guys have a question, go ahead and just put it in the chat. Okay, so I have lights on because it is kind of overcast today and it was really dark when I put on the camera. So let's talk a little bit about, and for those of you who are new to my channel, my name is Christy. I have been treating skin conditions, especially treatment-resistant hyperpigmentation, inflamed acne, and anti-aging without the use of topical medication. And by the time, my typical client can range from somebody who just wanted to know if this serum worked for their skin, all the way to people who have gone to, I think my record was one client who had gone to 11 different dermatologists to treat their melasma. So by the time they came to me, they said I was their last hope, because they had tried all different treatments and their melasma was only getting worse. So I've been doing this now for over 18 years. I actually retired December 2019. And then when COVID hit, my clients kept asking me to try to do this remotely. So now I'm back to doing this part-time. Okay, so yes, I am of retirement age. So let's go back. So they actually did a study with this antioxidant. And what they found was there was a significant reduction in wrinkles in the forehead, the paraoral area, which is around your eyes or around your mouth and around your eyes, the paraocular area. And they found the skin density, it actually got thicker. And that is what you want, right? So let's see. I already talked about that. Okay, so this is one antioxidant for people who have acne. Now, this heals acne lesions faster. It normalizes sebum production. And it also, with any skin lesions that you have, it helps heal faster. Now, if you know anyone that has like really inflamed red acne, okay, what happens is the darker or the more inflamed that is, and you guys will attest to this if you've had this, whether it's just one single breakout or all over your face, you already know that when that heals, the darker the post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation is. So the longer it takes for that to disappear, right? So if you have that, that means you may be lacking in this antioxidant. Your body cannot make this antioxidant. You need to actually take it, okay? So no, everyone is still waiting for more information before they are guessing. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay, so deficiency in this, you can have itchy rashes. So for example, it can be an indication, like if you all of a sudden have this dry, scaly, itchy thing, you know you didn't do any changes in your detergent, you didn't put any lotion on there. This could be a sign that you're deficient in this. If you have eczema, psoriasis, so any type of inflammatory skin condition, hair thinning. So women who have hair, and when I say thinning, most people think like balding, but I mean like the thickness of your hair actually starts to get thinner and weaker, sparser. You have dry scalp, and you're losing hair. This can be a deficiency in this. Because it is a DHT blocker, so testosterone. So this is what blocks it. That's what causes the hair loss in women. So, so that's also important. That was actually a key hint. So you guys, if you guys haven't gotten it yet, okay. All right. So let's see. It also helps. Oh yeah, because of this, it causes the hair follicles to shrink. Okay. So for women that are postmenopausal or menopausal, this is already happening anyway. So you need to, so women over 40, especially 50, as you get older, we all start to lack this even from foods. Now, for those of you who want to get it from foods, Lourdes, okay, so nope, it's not that. So she put vitamin D or iron, which is a good guess, because my next thing that I was going to say is that if you are over 40, especially 50, we tend to be deficient in this even when we are trying to eat foods that have this. The highest amount is going to be, seafood like oysters, meat, chicken, legumes, fortified cereals. But even if you are over the age of 40, we're still going to be lacking. We're still deficient in this. And that's why you start to see some of the changes in our skin and our hair and our nails. You will also, if you start to look at your nails and they are smooth, but then all of a sudden you start to see ridges, you're deficient in this. So a lot of people will talk about, like Lourdes said, vitamin D, vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E. And those are all antioxidants, but that's not it. It's the most overlooked antioxidant. Yes, Mary, you got it. So it's zinc, okay? So most people don't talk about zinc. So typically when I see someone's skin and I start asking them questions, that is one that I ask them, okay? If they are, and a lot of people are like, zinc? Right? So we don't typically think of a mineral as an antioxidant, but it actually is an antioxidant. Now, we're going to be talking about, Mary, if you can get a hold of me, okay? Yes. So if you get a hold of me, I will give you your prize, okay? All right. So now I'm going to talk about, it's not just zinc. There's all kinds of zinc, right? If you guys are even familiar with zinc. Zinc, there's a certain type of zinc that is the most easily absorbed into your body. And this is why this is really important for people over 40, especially 50, or if you have an autoimmune disorder, you have digestive disorders, if you already are experiencing like gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, this is a key that you are not absorbing zinc. So even if you say, I've had clients where they say, well, I take a zinc supplement. And then they get a blood test. They're like, oh, I was low, even though I was taking it. So there's few factors with that, right? So your digestive system, what you're eating, the combination of foods that you're eating, and the type of antioxidant that you are taking, right? So that's why I'm going to be talking about that. Okay. Okay. Great, Mary. Thank you so much. Oh, wow. That's pretty amazing that it's, that she got that. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm going to be talking about not only the type of zinc, but how you can take it and what increases zinc absorption. Okay, so the first thing is that does anyone know the type of zinc I am talking about? So it's not just zinc, because people just go, oh, it's zinc, but it's the type of zinc and how you take it. So a lot of times people will think they're good when they're taking supplements. And what I have found is, especially with my clients, so I'm not talking about like every single person, is people who also have stubborn hyperpigmentation, it's going to be a combination of how much trauma they cause their skin, how dark their skin is, and deficiencies, right? Is a lot of times they think they are good because they have supplementation. But then when they actually take the tests, they're like, gosh, I'm still low in this. So that is what I'm talking about. Okay. Yes, that's right, Naomi. It's picolinate. Very good. Zinc picolinate, right? So I'm going to be talking a little bit about zinc picolinate. So does anyone know what 2-amino acid actually increases zinc absorption? That if you take it with it, what actually helps increase it even more? Okay, so the reason why I'm emphasizing this is because when you have an autoimmune disorder, when you have when you're taking supplements, but you're still eating a lot of high processed foods, thinking that that's going to kind of neutralize it, that doesn't work. And then if you are over the age, especially over 50, you need to create an environment that you increase these nutrient, not just zinc, absorption as much as possible. So that's why. Okay. And especially when I see people who have really red, inflamed, almost purple acne, that is just a mirror of what's going on in their gut. And they're definitely low in this antioxidant. All right. Okay. So, and full disclosure, I do take these. I actually do take these. Not every single one of them. So it's a company, perhaps you guys have heard of it. It's called Sports Research, right? It's over 40 years of evidence-backed research. And why I like their company as a whole, generally speaking, is because a lot of the lipid-based or oil-based supplements that they have, it's going to be cold pressed. So it's not chemically, derived or heat sourced from heat, which breaks down a lot of the antioxidants in that. Glutathione, no. So it's not glutathione. So let's talk about it first. Okay, so I talk a lot about collagen, right? For those of you who are my clients and for those of you following me are already going to know this. So we need collagen, right? That's what gives your skin this plumpiness that we got going on here, right? Okay, so your skin is mainly made up of collagen 1 and collagen 3, but mainly 1. Now, the other collagens that you see in the market, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are basically used for cartilage, the inner lining of your blood vessels and your arteries and things like that. So they are all necessary. So first one I'm going to be talking about is the Sports Research Marine Collagen. The discount codes and the links are all in the description below. They range anything from, I don't know, something like 8 or 9% all the way to 30-something%. So depending on what you are interested in, everything from like apple cider vinegar, ashwagandha, the collagens, whatnot. Okay, So the marine collagen one, this is great for your skin. I always recommend this one. It's easily digestible, more easily broken down and absorbed by the body. Why I like this particular one is because it's wild caught. Okay, and it does have the 2 amino acids that helps increase the zinc absorption. Okay, so if you look at your label, it's going to be histidine and methionine. Okay, they're both in the marine collagen as well as I have both of them, the collagen peptides from bovine. Okay, now bovine, depending on the company, will have mainly 1 and 3, but some of them have all different types. It is hydrolyzed, right? So peptides, so more easily absorbed. However, if you were to compare, because I get this question a lot, what's the difference between marine collagen and bovine collagen? Is that marine collagen is much more easily absorbed into the body. Okay, and part of it is it can be just a preference. Now, I like this one because it is from grass-fed cattle. That's why. So a lot of it is you have to look at the origin. So many times my clients will come to me and say, well, what about this product? What about this product? And I try to change their way of thinking, because a lot of times they'll just read the marketing part of the label, not really pay attention to the ingredients, and then they look at the price. And so they'll say, well, this is only, such and such dollars. And then I'll say, well, look at the ingredients list and you can see the quality of it. Whatever antioxidant and the main ingredient you're buying it for, it's actually a lot lower on the list. Okay. The number one thing that I see that on is actually peptide serums. So that's just an example. Peptide serums, if you look at a lot of them, if they're inexpensive, you'll notice that the type of peptides that they have will be in the middle, or a lot of times towards the bottom. You will rarely see them at the top. When you see them at the top, they tend to be a little bit more higher in price. So you do get what you pay for a lot of the times. Not all the time, obviously, but many times you want to look at what's in there. Okay. Okay. So going back to, oh, Allie, good morning. You made it to my live. I thank you so much for being here. So Allie has been a longtime viewer. She works sometimes. She's not available on Saturday. So this is great. Okay. So let's go back to the zinc picolinate. Okay. So this one is 24% off. Okay. So now I do want to say this company did not give me free products. I actually buy them on Amazon. So they are Amazon links, but full disclosure, they're not paying me to do this sponsorship. And if you've watched me for a long time, you guys all know that I tell you up front, this is something that I use. This is something that I've tried. And most of the sponsorships that come to me, I don't end up doing them. So that's why you don't see a whole lot of them. Okay. So this one is a gel. Okay. So it is now, zinc picolinate is not, it's neither oil soluble or water soluble. I mean, it does dissolve, but why I like this one is if you look at the ingredients here, it's besides the zinc picolinate, it's organic virgin coconut oil, soft gel capsule is gelatin. So for those of you who are vegan, probably not going to work, but vegetable glycerin, purified water, organic beeswax. Okay. So it says contains tree nuts, which is from the coconut. So it doesn't have the artificial colors. I don't even know why a lot of these companies put artificial colors in like supplements and medication. Like who cares what the color is, right? And they'll put a lot of fillers in. So it's kind of like the soft gel right here. Okay. So, and there was a study, actually there were several studies that compared zinc picolinate, zinc gluconate, and zinc citrate. And what they did is they measured the amount of zinc in the hair, the blood cells, and the urine. And they found that zinc picolinate over a long-term use was actually higher in all three of those. So, and it was consistent. So if this zinc picolinate is actually really good for people who are zinc deficient. So they actually use this for long-term treatment for people who are really deficient in zinc. I'm not saying that the other ones are necessarily bad, but if you're trying to get the increased absorbency in your body, this may be a better option for you. Okay. Okay. So now, again, for people who have digestive issues, people who are over 40 years old, they do say to increase that absorption is to not take it on an empty stomach, right? But if your stomach gets upset easy, then you can still take it with food. Okay. You can take now zinc. You can take zinc with a lot of other supplements. I prefer to take, this is not popular, but I prefer to take certain like singular supplements with other supplements at different times of the day. It is not convenient. But when they did the multivitamin, that was not for you. I mean, it was for you, but not for your nutrition at hand. It was for convenience. People don't have the time or the energy, the bandwidth to be taking these different types of capsules at different times. It's just one singular one. Well, what ends up happening is when you do that, some of the vitamins and minerals can compete for absorption. So for women that have deficiencies, like I have osteopenia, which is before osteoporosis, I'm not going to be taking calcium in a multivitamin, right? Calcium and iron I choose to get from food. So there's just certain things that you want to be careful of, and I try to get things that are sourced from food. And this is why sports research. I did research on that. Is why I like that. It has the salmon oil. So if you have dry scalp, dry hair, dry skin, dry brittle nails, the best type of supplements for you is vitamin K2. That increases your elasticity of your skin as well. So vitamin K2, you're going to want to do salmon oil. You're going to want to do a lot of the lipid soluble type of nutrients or supplements. Now, as you get older, your melanocyte function starts to dysfunction. So you start to get more irregular pigmentation, and that only gets inflamed more if you eat high carbs or sugar or inflammatory foods. So how you can kind of mitigate that is by taking supplement called astaxanthin, which is also on sale. So astaxanthin, if you're not familiar, I did a video live a long time ago before all these videos started coming out about that in regards to skin, is it helps your skin deal with the inflammation that's caused by UVB. So that is why I am still able to go out in the sun and get my vitamin D without getting inflamed, because it helps mitigate and reduce the inflammation related to UVB. So astaxanthin does that. Let me see if I'm staying on track here. Let me see. Vitamin C. So for vitamin C, please make sure that you are not taking it with vitamin Bs. Vitamin C tends to reduce the absorption of that. Now, I will say, and for my clients, typically people who have digestion issues, I tend to tell them to take liquid forms if it is available. And if you look at the ingredients, that they don't have a lot of fillers, typically they are going to be a little bit more costly, but it does work. I started to get the rheumatoid. I remember I did a live and I showed you my joints, how swollen they are. So look how now it's just straight. It used to be this like lump. You can still see that. I don't know if it's catching it or not, the redness here in the joints, but it's not all swollen and they've all gone down. So if you take liquid ADK, that really helps as well. Oh, sorry, I need to get on here. Let's see. What's the name? Brand. So of this, so it's called Sports Research. I put it in the description below because I know those of you who have been following me, I'm really bad. I'll say it and then I forget to put the link in the description. So I did it beforehand so that you guys would have it, because they're having a huge sale. They even have one of a 10% whole site catalog sale if the ones particularly that you're interested is not on sale. But they do have a great sale. That's why I'm telling you guys about it. Even my clients who already buy it, it's like 20 to 30% off for some of them. Okay. So that's why I like sports research as a whole. They have MCT oil, they have all kinds of stuff that is on sale. So I put the description below on there. Okay. And those of you who are interested, this is a segment I think that is not as popular in the beauty community. The beauty community as a whole, generally speaking, is just like, just tell me what serum to buy. Just tell me what cream to buy. But my approach to this is more of a holistic approach. So when a client comes to see me, they have to fill out a 7-page form on their skin history, the treatments that they've done on their skin, depending on what the condition is, medications that they're taking, how old they are, if they're in menopause, how many years post-menopause, all these different things. Then we go about it with the nutrition, what things to pair it with, even for those of you who are new to my channel, even blood type, because blood type does affect. So just to let you guys know, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is certain blood types that are more prone to hyperpigmentation than others, right? So we talk about that as well. And if you guys are interested in that and you want to know more about that, I'm not sure. I think I put the link down below so that you can kind of see. And I even have like before and after photos so that you can kind of see. A lot of my clients tend to be of Indian descent. And I don't know if it's part of the culture, but they do not like to have their photos taken. Even if I blur out their eyes, I tell them, but they don't want to. So one in particular that we just finished the treatment, I was very disappointed. And I don't know if you're watching, but oh man, she had really dark eye, circles and under eye circles and pigmentation and really lightened up. She looks really, really good. All her friends said that she looks really good. So I got a couple references from her, but she did not want to put up a picture. And it was a really good before and after picture for sure. So, so it's sports research. So let me put this in here. Okay. So, yep, no, it was not iodine. Although I can see, Naomi, why you picked iodine, because it is good to normalize your thyroid and also for your hair. Okay. So a lot of times what happens when we as women get older, your hair, if you started to notice when your hair starts to fall out, you'll notice that like your hair, like for me, like you'll see these different lengths come out. And I've had several women say, how does your hair grow so long? Because mine won't even grow that long. After a certain length, they just fall out. So that could be, not that it is, but it could be a vitamin deficiency. Okay. So it just depends. Okay. So I did my thing. And if you're interested in that, also, you can sign up for an email that I put some information in there that may not necessarily be in a video, especially if it pertains to information in regards to what they're finding with prescription medication and how it affects the skin, because I've had a couple YouTube videos that they told me to, when I asked them why I couldn't put it on there, they said I had to take out the part of this one thing about a pharmaceutical drug, and why, when I couldn't figure it out. Well, what I noticed watching other videos is because that specific medication was being promoted on YouTube commercials. So, so that's why I do a lot of things in email that I typically don't do in videos, because they won't promote it or they won't push it out to my clients, or YouTube contacts me and says I can't put that up. Okay, so Mary says her hair lacks moisture. Okay, so my question, first of all, Mary, and here's an example of what I do in the consultation. I'll say, do you color your hair? And do you color your hair with permanent hair color? And the reason why I ask that is because when you use permanent hair color, no. Okay, so Let me just finish this, Mary, and then we'll talk a little bit about that. When you say lacks moisture, is it dry or is it frizzy? Do you have split ends? Because split ends is actually a vitamin deficiency as well. Because if you notice, my hair is pretty long right now. And part of the reason why my hair is so long is I am so lazy to go to get my hair cut. And then when it gets really long, I just go and cut it 4 inches and let it grow again. I don't know if you can tell. I have no split ends. I don't know if you can you guys see? I don't know. I have no split ends. Oh, okay. And you would think that my hair this long away from the scalp oils would have split ends. That's a vitamin deficiency. Okay, lacks moisture. No. So when you say lacks moisture, what do you mean by that? Is there a lack of shine or what is what I wanna know about that. Okay. So for those of you who are thinking that there is a hair product, like a hair conditioner that actually helps heal split ends, no, it's not. Conditioner will typically coat the hair temporarily, giving the appearance of it being really smooth and shiny, but eventually it starts to frizz again, right? If you notice that. So it's a vitamin deficiency. That vitamin is not nourishing the hair enough, right? So it doesn't matter if your hair is long and I do color my hair, right? So it's and that does damage your hair, obviously, right? But it's not about that. I don't have any split ends. That is a vitamin issue. Okay. No shine. Okay. So here's one thing that I have learned. So it's all relative, right? So darker hair obviously reflects the light better. And if it's straight, right, it reflects the light better. So when you say no shine, is your hair lighter color? Because typically lighter hair color may not reflect the light as well unless it's directly like overhead, right? So um, your hair lacks moisture. So does it feel rough and coarse? Okay. So if you notice, if you anyone using anti-frizz serum at all, or some kind of like shine serum, if you notice in a lot of your hair serums, um, the main ingredient is some type of silicone. Usually it's like cyclopentasiloxane, right? It's a type of silicone. So silicone will um, coat the hair, right? It'll coat the hair. They have oils in it, but it's basically to smooth out the frizz. Okay. So here, I was just playing with my hair, and you will notice. So you probably can't even see the hair. This is how strong my hair is. I can floss with it. So here it is. Can you see it? Okay. Well, it broke. Yeah. But I don't know if you can tell too. Can you pick up on how big the root is? Can you see that white tip? You may not be able to see it. Maybe if I put it, no. See, it's pretty big. So that also is a sign that your hair obviously is healthy because it is nourished. Okay. No shine. It feels dry. Some shampoos are too harsh. So Mary, you probably already know. You probably already know that if any of them have sulfates in it, that can be very, very drying. Um, you want to actually look for shampoos that have a coconut-based surfactant. Um, that's really popular, and they usually will make a combination of coconut oil and glycerin together. So those are both humectants for your hair. The issue is that the thicker the product or the more that it coats and the thinner someone's hair is, they don't like that because it weighs down the hair. It makes it look greasy, even though it's not. So um, some shampoos are too harsh. So what I use, I'm not affiliated with them. I'm not getting, I mean, I actually use it is a shampoo. If you guys heard of it, called routine shampoo. So that's tend to really reduce the dryness. I was actually using, what was I using before? It was another one that's like heavily promoted, and it really dried out my hair. Like from here down, my hair was like super frizzy. So I changed to routine, and routine tends to be better for my hair. It doesn't mean it's going to be good for everyone else's hair, but I like that one. And their rose scented one, I don't remember what it's called. Uh, that one is not overpowering. That's not overpowering. So I like that one. It doesn't have phthalates, and the way that you can tell it that it doesn't have phthalates is, unfortunately, when you put on lotion or shampoo or facial products and you continue to smell that fragrance that we all love, it has phthalates, right? And you don't want that. Those are endocrine disruptors, especially if you guys have hormone related issues, but for any woman, right? So, it's gonna smell, but then the smell eventually goes away, and that's how you know too, a lot of times, that it's phthalate free. Let's see. I shed a lot when I shower, but I only brush after I shower. I hardly have a tip root. Okay, so Allie, it may mean, just based on that, it may mean you have a vitamin deficiency of some sort. The nutrients aren't, it's not getting to the hair, right? So you're shedding. So I don't, we talked about the zinc picolinate, so that it could be that, it could be vitamin B, it could be iodine, which normalizes the hormones in your thyroid, but it also helps nourish the hair. I will tell you this: iodine is very popular in Japan. So when we see a Japanese person who tends to have like really thin hair, we all are like, "You need to eat more seaweed." Right? It brings color to the hair, vibrancy to the hair. And that's why their hair, typically, you'll see the hair is really like shiny and really just smooth. A lot of times, that's why you see that. If you've ever seen someone, if they're older, this is more common with older people, and it may be you, where you're looking at your hair. There's no shine. It's super super frizzy. You're using the wrong products, and your diet is deficient. Fish oil, cold pressed fish oil from wild caught, I think that's also on sale on Sports Research. That's really good. So Japanese people eat a lot of fishy fish. They like the taste of fishy fish. I know some of you hate it, but like salmon, mackerel, those oils are so good for your skin and for your hair. So, full disclosure, I promote that, but I myself don't take that because I do eat a lot of wild salmon. But I also take, let's see if I can find it in here. Somebody asked me about this the other. I don't know if I got back to you or not. Sorry. Is the Naoki green tea, matcha tea from the Uji reason, right? And that those are chelators. So they will naturally take out a lot of the heavy metals in that as well. So that's another thing. The zinc picolinate is a chelated form of zinc. Okay. Aveda is pretty good. So I have tried Aveda, and it wasn't bad for my hair. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of neutral for me. I didn't really have that shine with Aveda. And I used it for a long time too. So, but everybody has a different thing. So Portland, Oregon. Okay. So with Mary, it says your hair feels dry. So does it break easy? So that's another one. If you have overprocessed hair, obviously your hair is going to break easily. But also, if that root is small, it's not getting the nourishment. So then, obviously, your hair starts to, it's malnourished. It's a sign of malnourishment. Just like your nails, when they're brittle, they split easy. So mine are really, really thick and they grow super fast. These are all things that are typically not common with women who are older, and it just becomes more pronounced, unfortunately, as we get older. But if you can get the diet right and you have a healthy gut and you can increase that absorption, then we can't stop the aging, right? um, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you can stay young and look young forever. we're all going to age. My thing is to age gracefully. So personally, for me, this is just a personal choice. And if you have done it, more power to you. I don't do the Botox. I have not gotten any type of those type of procedures. And obviously, you can see that, I'm older. I'm not like this young woman, but I want to look best for my age, right? And you can absolutely, do that. Um, Multivitamin pills. So, okay, I don't know, Allie, if you were still online, but I talked about the multivitamin pills. I don't really prefer it because it's more marketed for people, for convenience. You just take one pill and you got it all. But the thing is, you're going to, your body is not going to absorb a lot of it. So, I don't really recommend that. I'll give you an example of somebody so I was treating her for acne, and the nickname that people gave her in high school was Pizza Face. Really sad. Even when we were doing our online consultation, she was rarely I mean, even on video, she was rarely giving me eye contact. So you could tell that her self confidence and how she viewed herself was really low. So we worked a lot with her diet. Now, if you're thinking, well, which works better? So if you're thinking you need vitamin A, right, as a supplement, but zinc is much better when somebody has that kind of inflammation, whether it's red rosacea, acne, eczema, anything that is just red, they need that zinc. Okay. And is her skin is fair, so that redness really made it worse. It was almost like purple. But now, so now you can tell her skin is fair. She still has some acne, so now we're working with that pigmentation. Okay. So we did a combination of skincare products, no medication, um, and with diet. Okay, let's see. It doesn't break, but I also shed a lot of hair. I don't look like I'm balding, thankfully. Okay. So I should ask you this too, Mary. Are you older than 50? I'll ask that. Okay. So because as we get older, the estrogen drops and we all will have less hair than when we were younger. Um, but let me ask that, okay? It doesn't break, but it also shed a lot of hair. So it may be the estrogen thing. So you don't need to take, um, there are natural DHT blockers. You don't need to take medication for that. So one of which I told you is zinc. The other one is um, the raspberry ketones. For those of you who are histamine sensitive, raspberry ketones don't have any histamines in there. People go, raspberry, histamines. No, it's the ketones don't have any. Butene, is it butene? Did I say it right? Butene hair products? So I never heard of that. I've also been taking black seed oil. So black seed oil is good, but I will tell you this. So I had a couple clients who put on their consultation form, because they had really stubborn melasma, that they were taking black seed oil, applying it on their skin, and there was no improvement in melasma. So in that case, we had to dig deeper, obviously, that it didn't work for them. There was other issues that were going on. One of which, actually, both of them were on HRT. So personally, for me, I'm not doing HRT. I've never done HRT. I just take natural phytoestrogens, from food and try to balance that out. I do it the Japanese way, because I don't know if you guys know, but in Japan, there's not technically a word for menopause. It's not common for women to go through the night sweats, not being able to sleep. They don't have a lot of that. I didn't see my mom have that. I started to experience that when I was 45 to 47. I started to eat like my parents eat, which is the traditional Japanese diet. and those went away. So never went through that after that. So, and I've been postmenopausal now for 10 years. So, let's see. Yes. Okay. So maybe it's a hormonal now that you said that. Yes. So it can be that too. If you can balance out your hormones and you have a diet for women who are over 50 in their 60s, right? You're again, you're going to age. We're all going to age, but you're not going to have the like. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't do anything special. Let me see if you can see. So I don't have a gut. I don't have any like stomach or anything like that. I don't do anything special, but I do eat really, really clean. I have to because of my autoimmune disorders. So, and my tests, somebody asked me, whatever happened with your test results? So, without taking levothyroxine, with the eating, I have been able to normalize my T3 and T4, and obviously my hormone levels are normal within range for my age. So I've been able to do that. So on paper, it doesn't look like I have Hashimoto's disease. But the doctor told me because I had that, because I eat so disciplined, right? Um, I can trigger it again, turn it on if I start to eat the gluten and all the other stuff that can trigger it. And one of the things that I did that my doctor was like, well, you can go ahead and do it and try it, but I don't know anything about it, is I did eat more of the foods that were close to my blood type. Okay, so I did that and I did a lot of food combining, which I do share in my videos. Can you please do a detailed video of the Japanese diet? Yes, and I also, let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Um, I'll actually see if I can pull up, and I'll put the link in here of just some of the things that you can watch too. Now, I'm actually surprised. There were some people that I said, well, you're probably not going to eat this way because it's so foreign to, let me see, it's so foreign to the taste. But I'm actually surprised. A couple of my clients have started to eat like natto, they started to eat seaweed, all these kind of things. So here's one. And then while I'm doing this, it's not going to take that long because I haven't done that many. But if you guys, any of you guys have questions on this, or I mean, are you guys interested in seeing that kind of stuff? I just thought people would not want to see that. You know, that's like two. I'll just do two for now, but there is a lot more on there. Okay. There is a lot more on there. Now, I will say this. Oh, Janice is back. I love it. Janice, for those of you who don't know, she was my client, in-person client, when I still lived in California for years. Eggs are good to eat. Oh, so here's one thing about eggs. If you have a sensitivity or allergy, or your diet or your blood type tends that you cannot eat, or you won't eat corn, soy, or wheat. This is a lot of times what the commercial suppliers will make for chicken feed. So if you're sensitive to that, you won't even think it's in eggs, right? You're actually thinking, okay, it's wheat. So that would be like bread and pasta, and corn. That would be like the actual corn and corn muffins and tortillas, but they actually fill that. Now, if you've ever, so ducks, when the duck liver, the pate, foie gras, how do they make that liver fatty? They force feed them corn. So corn is really, it makes people's gut in the middle fatty. So if you've ever seen people that have a gut and they say it's like really hard, it's not like mushy, a lot of times that is they have a fatty liver. So eggs can be good. So if you can find, and I know some of you live in big cities, you may not be able to find it, but if you can find duck eggs or chicken eggs where the chicken feed them mostly like mealworms, bugs, which that's what they naturally eat, that would be better for you. Okay, so a lot of times when you see the eggs and it says vegetarian feed, chickens are not vegetarian. Okay, they eat bugs. So, and they supplement them with other things that might work out better for you. Okay. So, but eggs, I'm not saying don't eat eggs. Yes, eat eggs. But if you can find that, and if you have these sensitivities or you're avoiding these common food allergens, that may be something that you may want to consider. Okay. Uh, yeah. Oh, diet is very interesting. Okay. Really? You guys are interested in what I eat or what the Japanese? All right. And then I also will tell you too, the Western influence, America's influence is very strong. So what I have noticed, even going to Asian grocery stores, is um, you're starting to see in some of them, which I didn't see before, high fructose corn syrup and things that like Japanese people don't eat. The Japanese taste buds are not accustomed to very sweet. But what the American food industry is slow, it's like penetrating. So they're influencing a lot of the food that, making them accustomed to more sweeter and sweeter things, sweeter sauces. They're getting them hooked on sugar. So I talk about some of the things that what you should avoid in that as well. Okay. Okay. So, any other questions oh, I will tell you this. There are some ingredients in skincare that is a lot of hype. Um, I'm glad I'm starting to see a lot of people who are getting, well, I don't know what you would call it, skincare product fatigue or skin influencer fatigue or whatever, where all these people keep promoting all these different products over and over and over. And I have always remained, even though it's not popular, is you've got to create a really good gut microbiome that is going to be reflected on your skin microbiome. And then where the skincare products come in is using the right combination for pH, just like your stomach. But then your skin will be able to metabolize at some level the ingredients that you're working on. And so this everlasting treadmill of, well, this product didn't work for me, so I'm going to use this one. This product didn't work for me, I'm going to use this one. It can depend on your skin microbiome, your gut microbiome, and the combination of products that you use. So it just depends on that. So I will say this to those of you who are watching. I still do product reviews, but is when you're watching these videos, I want you to look at it with a critical eye and say, number one, is this person, do they actually have experiencing treating other people's skin, not just their skin? That's one. Are they a professional in that, or are they a professional influencer? Now, I'm not talking bad about influencers because, that's what they do, right? That is what they do, and they're good at it. But you have to look at it through the lens of, is this person talking about menopause and they're like in their late 30s, 20s, 40s? I mean, I'm past that, right? So, and I have treated like thousands and thousands of clients with all different types of issues with their skin. So you have to look at it through the lens of that. What is the goal of what they are trying to do? And are they just making a lot of general statements, or are they also including this is recommended for this type of skin, not recommended for this type of skin? You have to look at all those aspects of that and be more of a critical thinker. Okay. So, okay. So if there is no other questions with that, I did have a question. I forgot to answer it, the message. And that was a client asked me, can they take um, zinc, like with what certain types of supplements? So one, I did say that if your stomach is not sensitive, you can take it by itself. However, if you, a lot of people will like to take vitamin C with zinc, that can actually upset your stomach because both of them on its own can tend to affect your stomach on each on its own. So when you put it together and you do it with a that, and some people will take that with coffee, like that's going to increase stomach upset, obviously. I tend to avoid taking any supplements with coffee because coffee is a diuretic. It's going to make you go to the bathroom really quickly. So that um, the ones that you take on an empty stomach, take at least 30 minutes before you're going to have anything that's going to make you go to the bathroom very quickly. Okay. What are your opinions about face yoga? Is it part of your skin? No. So I don't do face yoga. Now, overall, any type of exercise that you do with your face. Oh, if you guys can hold on real quick. Um, hold on here. Let me see if I can. If you guys can hold on real quick, I am going to bring a muscular face muscle thing. I'm going to be right back. Okay. I'm not going to put a commercial in. I'll just be right back. Okay. Hold on. Okay. See this facial muscle chart? Hopefully the light doesn't reflect it. Right? Can you guys see that? Hold on. Let me see. Can you guys all? Okay. Yes? Okay. You can see that. Okay. So these muscles are obviously created to make your facial muscles move in a certain way and it shows expression, right? And because of that, which is called dynamic wrinkles, you get the wrinkles because you make that expression over and over and over. Eventually, it can turn into static wrinkles, which is even if your face is expressionless, right? It still shows the wrinkles, right? As we get older or the skin starts to break down. So for these younger clients that I'm seeing that I think are much older, they've caused a lot of inflammation. The skin collagen starts to break down, and those are scarring, right? So what facial when you do? So let's use these muscles right here. You guys see this muscle going down? Oh, let's see. Oops. Oh, here, going here, right? So you're using it, you open your mouth. So when you do facial yoga and you can't make those muscles move any differently. So the wrinkles that you may have gotten because you're doing it over and over, right? Your Some of those movements can exacerbate the wrinkles because you can only move those muscles in a certain way. So what you have to do is like these muscles right here. Can you see this? Oh, goodness. Hard to, these muscles, right? Can you see these muscles, right? They kind of help pull it up. Well, there's no exercise that you can do with your face to help pull that up. So that is where you want to use what I have my clients do for certain ones, not all of them, is do microcurrent or some of them microneedling, right? But microcurrent, what that does is it helps strengthen the muscles and pull them up, right? Depending on the different function that you use for them. So a lot of the retail ones, it only limits you to doing certain ones. So it's very limited. And usually when you see the apparatus, you will see the little balls that have that conduct the electrical currents. They're very close together, so it's very, very limited. So the energy transfer between the two, it's very limited because it's so close together. You want it to have more space and more flexibility for it to be able to move, so you can grab that muscle, which is called the pinch and hold method. So a lot of the ones that you see that are fairly inexpensive on Amazon, you will notice that the balls of the machine are very close together. So they don't really work as well. Okay. But what that does, it helps strengthen and lift up the muscle that is the opposite muscle, I guess you would say, right? So, like these muscles down here, right, with gravity always pulling on our face, well, with everything, right, pulling on our face, it'll still make the wrinkles. And so, like in this instance, I'm just using here, right? You want to take the muscles that are here. I don't know if you guys can see this. We'll pull it up, right? So when I start to see, like I haven't done it in a while because I had the flu and I had to catch up with work and everything. I haven't done it. So I start to see a little bit of the sagging right here, right? And so then I will do just a little bit for maintenance. Um, um, so that's just an example. So I'm not saying that yoga is bad because it will strengthen the muscle, but you're using the muscles that are created to make that movement. For some of you who it actually, so you'll see a little bit of lifting, right? Because obviously when you have muscle, it makes everything firmer and tighter, right? But if you're doing a yoga movement that actually creates that wrinkle, you're only exacerbating the scarring of that wrinkle, and eventually that dynamic wrinkle will turn into static wrinkle. Okay, but it depends on what we're talking about here. Okay, so no, it is not a part of my skincare routine because I just understand how the muscles work. Okay, great. I'm glad you liked the answer. Let's see, Allie. I got the brightening treatment cleanser and the 3-cross-link ampule and using them together. So that's really good, Allie. So I don't know if you're just using it for anti-aging or overall brightening or actually treating hyperpigmentation because that is actually more involved. But if you're just using that, that's actually really good. Here's another example of that. The 3-cross-link ampule has some probiotics in it. When a client has an unhealthy, unbalancing skin microbiome, they can break out. There's a possibility. And it's not just that product. So any probiotic skincare products, when you use it and like let's say you have acne and you find that some kind of lactobacillus ferment is good for the skin because it's a probiotic and their skin breaks out, that means when they break out, what I usually do with my clients and I say, okay, we have to go back and let's get the gut healthy first. So that is a sign too, if you're breaking out because you're putting that probiotic, an active life culture on your face and you break out, you're throwing off the gut microbiome, right? Or not the gut, but the skin. So that's how I know how to treat that. Okay. Using it for spots. Okay. So I don't know. I haven't seen a picture of the spots, but you may see a little bit of overall lightening, but it's not probably going to make the kind of difference that you're hoping for. So, and I did tell you that up front. Okay. A lot of times people will buy something and say, this didn't work. And then I go, well, what are you using it for? Oh, yeah, you're going to need to do a little bit more of that. I mean, that is why I'm licensed, right? Because if all age spots and all hyperpigmentation was just treatable by using a bunch of um, skincare products, then there wouldn't be any need for my profession or for dermatologists to treat that, right? So, let's see, what else? Also taking astaxanthin pills. Okay, so make sure that those astaxanthin is oil soluble or a powder, that if it's a powder form in a capsule, you take it with oil soluble. Okay, So the other thing that I noticed with me is that, because it's summer, you get the age spots. Well, if you're older, you get age spots. So one of the things that I do to avoid, I don't know if you can see my skin, the age spots, I have it right here on the counter. Those of you who forget to take your supplements, put it in a place that you're going to see it, right? And so you will take it. Okay. Is this my Pro Shield Max? I talk about this all the time. Ooh, I don't know if you guys can see that. The light is because it's white. Pro Shield Max. So this has it has the vitamin C from the acerola cherries, but proprietary blend of mulberry fruit powder, raspberry extract, 4% raspberry ketone, lutein, astaxanthin, marigold extract, zeaxanthin, um, and the green tea extract. Those are all things that help your skin regulate melanin production and to reduce exposure from UVB rays. And so people will say, you don't look like you go out in the sun. I do go out in the sun. This just helps mitigate that. A lot of things too, people that are my age, when you look at their chest, right? It's wrinkly. There's a lot of sagging going on. There's uneven pigmentation. So this just tells you that you can mitigate that. Um, so and then they'll say, well, you just wait until you get into your 40s or 50s. And I'm like, well, a little bit late. So you can do these things. And the things that I do talk about is not popular in the beauty community because the beauty community has a different way of thinking, right? They just want that bottle of fountain of youth to fix everything. And a lot of times, because they're not looking at ingredients, it's actually accelerating aging depending on what the product is. And can you put a link of those pills, please? Okay, I'll put that in there. Let me see if I can get it. One last thing I want to say, and this is not popular with sponsors. Okay, so drugstore brands. You're going to see a lot of dermatologists and influencers promote these drugstore brands. I'm going to tell you why if you don't know. These drugstore brands, these major brands, give lots of financial incentives. Very generous commissions because they have the money. They're backed by, hedge fund companies, right? Procter and Gamble, like L'Oreal, those kind of things. They're very generous commissions. I don't promote them because if you look really carefully with a critical thinking, look at the ingredients, then just put the ingredients and then put look what they are and then put like liver or kidney symptoms or what is it toxic for or something like that in Google, and it'll have a whole list of things. So what they're doing is they're creating problems and then they create the solution, right, with a lightening cream or put that in there you go, something like that. So and people say, well, I can get this and it's so cheap. And it's like, well, yeah, because they're pennies cost. Why do they add all these colorants in here that now I think they are going to be, well, we'll see, right? Outlawed or whatever. And why is it that these companies make a whole different formulation for Europe and Japan versus the United States? So I'm not a big fan of a lot of, not all, but a lot of drugstore brands, which are really popular, and a lot of influencers and a lot of dermatologists promote them because they it's pretty generous financial, kickbacks for that. And I just have chosen not to do that because I have clients who trust me. I've earned that trust. Some of them have been using my products for over 18 years. That is a long time. And some of the products that I promoted, when they change their ingredients, I'm very upfront with my clients and say, I love this product. Yes, but they changed it. They added way more silicone. So I'm not going to carry it anymore. So I'm really upfront with my clients on that. What is the supplement again? You just showed it had green tea. Oh, where did I put it? Did I put it back already? Oh, here. It's white, so it reflects. It's called MD Dermis. I put the link in there in the chat so you can see. It's the Pro Shield Max. Ugh. Okay. So I do go out in the sun to get vitamin D. Now I'm not out there all day. Like I'm getting, like 10 minutes, no sunscreen, just to get the vitamin D because I was shown to be low in vitamin D because of my autoimmune disorder. So then I started taking the liquid form of it, and now it's within normal range. But I do go out in the sun. I do, to get that vitamin D because that's actually the best way to get your vitamin D. But I still take supplements too because I was lower in that, right? Okay, Ali says, can I take astaxanthin pills if they are not oil-based with black seed oil? Wait, can I take astaxanthin pills if they are not oil-based with black seed oil? Yes, you can. But yes, you can do that. Or any fats, taking it with eggs or full fat yogurt or so something that has fat in it is fine. That's a great question too. Pro Shield. Oh, here. Pro. Oops. Now I'm going to be upfront with you too. Again, if you're thinking that you can just take 1 bottle, 2 bottles, and your skin will be perfect, or all those age spots will just disappear. No. No. Have I been taking this for a long time? Yes, I have been taking this for a long time. I've been taking this since this has come out. But there's certain ways that I take this. There's combinations of food that I eat with this. Everything is interconnected. So, but it definitely does help. I will tell you this too. Here's a little secret that I do. So when you eat, so I typically don't eat a lot of foods in sugar, right? But let's say that I'm the type of person that if I'm craving something and I want it and I know it's not good for me, I'll just have a little bit so that like further down the road, I don't binge on it or something. So let's say that, so I love ice cream. So dairy and sugar together for me causes me to break out, even with my old skin. It does cause me to break out. So what I do is 30 minutes before, not always, sometimes I forget, but 30 to 45 minutes beforehand, or if we're leaving to go get ice cream or something, I will take this 30 to 45 minutes, and I'll take this with an MCT oil, right? Because what this does, raspberry ketones also helps your insulin levels. So my insulin level was 40. It was 40. And they were like, how is it that low? You don't eat any sugar, do you? And I go, well, overall, no, I don't eat a lot of processed like sugar, but I do have sometimes ice cream, and I do have sometimes like gluten-free pizza, right? So I will take this because it normalizes this. And why this is important is because sugar also contributes, sugar and fats, sugar and proteins together does contribute in irregular pigmentation formation. It's lipofuscin, right? So I will take this first, and then I will take vitamin C. So the vitamin C that I take is the one actually, it has vitamin C, but this also has it. This is the one that is derived from whole foods. So it's not synthetic. So I will take this. I'm not getting any kickbacks for this. This is actually what I take. And then 30, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever, I will have the sugar. And that helps my body um, deal with all the reactive oxygen species that I'm introducing into my body. Okay. So there's tricks that you can kind of mitigate things. And studies have shown that sugar reduces vitamin C absorption. So I take this beforehand, before I'm about to take my sugar. I know it's crazy. But if you understand how things work in the body, you can kind of do certain things. So, there's some people out there that are incredibly disciplined and will never eat sugar, never eat the. I'm I'm at an age where it's like life is too short to, not enjoy something occasionally. And my tests have shown that I've normalized everything while still having an occasional treat. And the healthier you eat, you actually don't have cravings for that. Me for me it's more social things. So when people go out and do social things, and if I want it, then I'll have it. If not, it's not a problem for me to sit and watch other people eat it. It really isn't. So somebody actually is called green tea. I love that because you know how I talk about matcha all the time. Sunshine is especially important for the approximately 30% of people with the. Oh, I have that don't absorb vitamin D well through supplement. Thank you for bringing that up. That is so true. So when they said that I had that gene, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, what? So, yes. And this gene expresses itself for vitamin B, lack of vitamin B absorption. So, this is where I have to take the liquid form of it, as much liquid form of it as possible. Now, there is a liquid form of this vitamin C that I do give to my clients who are actually of Indian descent, and vitamin B liquid as well. So yes, that is so true. Green tea. That what a great that. Thank you for contributing towards the conversation because that is so true. Um, and so the other thing too is if you have some sort of autoimmune disorder or a malabsorption of your intestines where you're taking these supplements and you're like it's not working, it's all about combination when you take them, what type that you take. And that's why I do go a little bit more into detail with this. Um, and I am a walking, what do you call, I guess, test case of this because, I'm not your typical mid 20, 30 some odd person talking about anti-aging. I mean, they haven't even gone through that yet. It's like, well, let me see you when you are of retirement age and then we'll talk. Right. So, specifically for what treatment? So that is actually for anti-aging, increasing the skin's health, helping to mitigate the environmental stressors, pollution, the sun, um, stress, things that can, people smoking cigarettes or whatever, the reactive oxygen species. So it neutralizes it at the surface level. So it helps with that. Now, when you're saying, "Well, I wanted to use this for dark spot treatment," yes, but you need to use other things with that to help increase the efficacy of that. So a lot of times when people use vitamin C, that this has vitamin C and astaxanthin, right? So it helps with it's actually helps the vitamin C stabilize and actually under test conditions, it actually increases its potency when exposed to red, white, and blue light, where vitamin C actually degrades very quickly with that. And what most people are not aware of is blue light actually penetrates the skin a lot deeper than UV rays ever does. The reason why we're made to be aware when we're out in the sun and where our skin starts to get red and burn is because the UV rays has inflammation. The dangerous thing about blue light is it penetrates deeper, causes more deeper pigmentation and inflammation of the skin, but our skin doesn't turn red. It doesn't get inflamed. So we're not even aware of what we do. So a lot of the things that I tell my clients is when they do a treatment, I tell them to not get on their phone, just do it the last thing in the day and then turn off the lights and go to bed because their skin needs to start recovering and they don't want we don't want any lights on your skin because your skin goes through a circadian rhythm, right? And so we don't want light on our skin after we've done these treatments. Turn the lights off, go to bed, no phone, okay? So it's more ideal to use it during the day. I've been putting it on before bed. So I recommend using it before bed. Here is the caveat though. If you are using something that makes your skin more photosensitive, um, whether it's retinoids, AHAs, BHAs, anything that's going to make your skin more photosensitive and that you need to be using that, then you can use it during the daytime because it doesn't degrade as quickly as vitamin C. So astaxanthin actually is like a vitamin C stabilizer and a booster. So like with you, what it's doing on your skin right now, it's actually neutralizing the free radicals, so preventing your skin from aging a lot faster or breaking down a lot faster. But if you're saying, well, I wanted to use this specifically for the treatment or lightening of age spots, it's a different protocol with it. You can use it. I do have my clients use that, but that's actually to prevent more pigmentation from making that age spot or the patch that they have darker. Okay, so it's more like a preventative, because when somebody has a patch and they're really self-conscious about it, and they're saying, okay, well, we're told to go into sunshine, but it's making it darker, that discourages them. So it really just prevents it from getting darker or getting larger. Okay, so it's more. Yeah, so I hope that helps. So skincare is not just one product. It is just one piece of the puzzle of skincare. So I know skincare is made to look like it's very simple, and it can be if you're just doing maintenance. It's simple. But when you're doing a treatment, it can be, not always, but it can be complicated on what you are doing. Once you get that dialed in, it's pretty easy, and then you can just be on maintenance. So like with me, I usually am just on maintenance, and then when my skin starts to look a little drab, or like right now I'm starting to get a little bit saggy here, I will do my uplifting, right? So that's pretty much how you do it. Let's see. Okay, so it vitamin C serum. Okay, so wait, vitamin C serum and then the three cross serum, is the vitamin C water based or oil based? Because is it a vitamin C derivative or is it actual vitamin C? So that's one question. The other thing is that you're actually treating age spots or patches. You do need a treatment cream and a treatment serum. So you can't just do it with one product. Okay, so let's see if there is nothing else. Oh, so one of the things I do want to emphasize is skin density. So the thicker or denser your skin is, you've heard the term, and I hope I don't get a strike or anything like that, is, you've heard the stereotypical black don't crack, Asian don't raisin. I don't know if there's any other ones, but these are ones that I've heard from my clients. Okay, so the thicker your skin is, it's going to take more for it to sag. I mean, eventually it's going to sag, right? Because of the gravity. And the less likely it's going to crinkle and wrinkle, right? This is why typically people who are of Northern European descent, their skin is not as dense. It's actually really thin. So it's like rice paper almost. So if you've ever taken really thin paper and just kind of crinkled it real fast, and then it has all those crinkle marks in it, and then you take like construction paper and you're trying to it's a lot harder to wrinkle, right? So zinc is really important in trying to maintain skin density. if you are younger and you start doing this, you can actually increase that skin density. Okay. So for people who are over 50, over 55, even 40, depending on, your skin's history, taking this regularly will help maintain it. And for some people, this test actually said it increases skin density. So that's why skin density is important. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So you're welcome, Allie. So I just wanted to be upfront with you on that. Let me see. The other thing, let's see if there's not any. Oh, and it helps with your the supplements in here helps with dry eyes. So if you have dry eyes or you have Sjogren's syndrome, it helps relieve a lot of that with your eyes and increase your eye health. Helps you, you know, and the reason why eye health is so important is as you get older, you tend to have more eye problems, whether it's sight problems, glaucoma, cataracts, whatever. So it does help with that. Okay, so it's 11:30. I have a lunch date with a friend, and I don't see any more questions coming in. So um, you can also, Mary, so if you're still on here, please um, email me. Okay. And let me see. Everything you eat in my diet in one day. Well, I eat a lot of stuff. I'm like an omnivore, really. But if you want to see a focus on Japanese stuff, then I can. That might be interesting to do on more because I see some videos where they talk about Japanese food, and they're not Japanese. They mispronounce the word, and you can tell that they've never eaten it just the way they talk about it. Because I'm like, well, that's wrong. So they're just telling you like information on why the food is so good, but you can tell that they don't eat it themselves, right? And I don't blame them. See, oh, you're welcome. So if you guys have learned a lot, I would love that you give it a thumbs up. And because it's like I feel like I give all this information, and some people are like, well, we take notes on this. Please give it a thumbs up under the video. Do the thumbs up and share it with people that you know, because my goal is to educate people so that when they're at the grocery store, they're at Costco, they're talking with their doctor. It's okay to challenge your doctor. Your doctor is not God. I challenge my doctor all the time. So, and a lot of times they're so busy, they're not reading these studies. They don't even know about these studies. So even with my dentist, I had the root canal and I got infected, and I had an implant and it got infected. So they said, well, we'll take it out and put a titanium implant in there. Do you know that there's papers that say the titanium implants poison you and get past the blood-brain barrier when it's closer to here? So this is what I did. I'm missing a tooth. I had them take it out, and I said, no implants. Okay? Now you can see. I'm missing a tooth. And I felt a lot better. That low-grade fever went away. So I showed them this study online when we were about to do the implant. And I said, I decided not to do it, and this is why. And he did not even know. So a lot of times the doctors are so busy, they're not even aware of a lot of these studies that are coming out. So, or they have a new thing that doesn't have enough time with these studies to even show what is happening. So it is okay to question your healthcare provider. If you present it in a way that you're not trying to be inflammatory, or, a lot of times if you do the research now and you show them and you ask them what their thoughts are, and by the way that they respond to it will tell you a whole lot if you should continue treatment with them or find somebody else. Okay, so see you guys soon, and I will talk to you later. And then email me. Those of you who are on my email list, you guys know if you have any questions, you can email me. I respond to them. Okay. All right. Talk to you soon, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.